Hi, I'm CJAltenburg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We appreciate you tuning in this morning. It's a little wet here in Colorado, but we're going to show you this nice new 2021 Cimarron 4-horse living quarters. So our living quarters are going pretty rapidly. When these guys kind of show up, they're usually leaving pretty fast. But on this one here, this isn't a big footprint. I mean, this is a 4-horse, so very sought after trailer in today's market. We're kind of seeing the gap between 3s and 4s kind of extend to about 65 to 35% when you're comparing the two. A couple of years ago, it was about 55-45, but that gap has spread. The other thing is this is a 10/8 short wall, so we're not looking at a big, massive trailer. This is a very easy to maneuver trailer, even though it's a 4-horse. You know, the overall length on this trailer is 28.3, so it's again not a big footprint that we're looking at on some of these living quarters. So this is a great candidate if you're not needing a big living quarters by any means. You're wanting that 4-horse, but maybe you're headed to some trailheads, going to some different shows, maybe in some bigger cities where it's harder getting in and out of places. This is a really nice setup right here. Again, because it's not massive by any means. It is 8 foot wide. It is 7'7" tall, so you are getting that extra height up in the gooseneck area, in the bed area. Having that width, we can do things like the mainders on them, making those stalls a little bit bigger. But again, not an overall massive trailer by any means. So let's just kind of start talking a little bit about maybe a couple of the upgrades that we do on this setup. This is again a 10'8". It is a Pro Line by Outlaw conversions. So what we do is we kind of look at a couple different things that we like to upgrade, and one of the very first things is the LP bottles. Standard is a 20-pound bottle. We like to go ahead and upgrade to 30s. I mean, we just understand that, again, if you're headed to a trailhead or you're traveling, you know, you don't want to be stopping having to fill these up, exchange them all the time. These here are 30-pounders with a gauge on them as well, which I absolutely love that gauge from the standpoint of, man, I don't have to come by and kind of tap on them and try to, you know, wiggle them, see what kind of weight's in there. I mean, these right here will tell you, both these tanks right now are full. So that's an upgrade we do. On this setup, standard is your aluminum battery box. Dual batteries on these living quarters. There's our battery disconnect. But when you get into an Outlaw, and again, this is a Pro Line by Outlaw, everything is so detailed. You know, if you look at this wiring here, it tells you exactly what each one of those goes to. So again, it's not just like, well, here's the wires, you know, you kind of guess what it goes to. No, they've got them labeled for you. So again, they've got so many service centers across the country, Outlaw does, that, you know, they can get you in somewhere, and that technician, they can say, go here, look for this is the wire you're looking for, rather than him trying to figure it out. So it really helps from the standpoint of diagnosing if there is an issue and getting it repaired for you. We go ahead and put our jack on at Cimarron. This is an electric over hydraulic system by Equalizer. We like these setups because it does have a manual override as well. So if you get in an emergency situation, batteries are completely dead, anything like that, we can pump this off the truck or get it onto the truck and get you down the road and then diagnose what the issue is. So that's something we do there at Cimarron on this trailer. Now, before we kind of go into the living quarters itself, you'll notice we've got an awning on it with a nice cover. That's a Dometic awning right there. We've got some exterior speakers, some lights. It's just a good place to entertain outside here. I mean, we understand that that's what you're doing, is you're wanting to go and experience and hang out and enjoy and create memories. And these type of setups are really good for this. We've got a step going into the living quarters. This door is on gas shocks, and it also does have a screen door on it. So again, we're looking at the Pro Line by Outlaw conversions here. You know, on this stain here, we kind of went middle of the road. They've got a light stain and a dark stain. We kind of went middle of the road here. Nice accent on the couch, on the valances as well. You've got a memory foam, an Outlaw Flex as it's called, memory foam mattress up in the nose. We've got a flat screen TV that does pivot because it is a little bit smaller size here. We've got one TV, so it will come off on the arm and you can swing it forward if you're up in the nose, or if you're sitting on the couch, we can pivot it this direction here. We go ahead and do the recessed counter with the glass lid on it for the cooktop, 2-burner. The reason why is it just gives you some counter space when that's down. You've got a sink with a cover on it as well. Up above, a microwave. You've got a hood vent as well. Like I mentioned, that couch, this is a jackknife style couch. Very easy to operate, folds right down. You've got a second bed in this living quarters. Kind of grab in the middle on kind of both pieces and work together, and it just slides right back into place. When you get into the 10-footers or larger, you get the big refrigerator and freezer. If you get into anything smaller, you're actually going to lose quite a bit of storage space, because we've got to have a place for it. And when you get into anything smaller, if you get into like those 8-footers, this whole door shifts forward, and we're actually going to lose our drawers underneath our cooktop, because that's where that has to live. And it's a 3.0, so it's a lot smaller. It's a dorm fridge, as I always kind of refer to it as. This is a double rod closet. As you can see, we've got a table with a base on it, with a post that you can go ahead and set out here. The reason why the base and not so much, I mean, sometimes you'll see us actually put the hardware in the floor, but with this base, this carpeted base here, you know, that table's a little easier to kind of maneuver out of the way if you need to. I mean, again, we're not in a huge LQ by any means, so we have to have that flexibility to be able to kind of move around if possible. And then when we get into the bathroom here, we've got a pass-through door that goes into the first stall. So you can almost use this first stall as a mudroom at times. Kick off your dirty boots and clothes and hop right in here to the bathroom, jump in the shower. But even though this is a 10.8, I mean, this is still a good flowing setup in the bathroom. We have a bathroom vanity with a sink. You can actually stand in front of it. Sinks or toilets out of the way, so again, you can sit here and access that. We've got a radius shower with the skylight. With the skylights, you get that added height for those individuals that are taller. I know everybody says, man, why do they pick that shower up off the floor so much? And actually what they do is that's for the venting for the furnace. So we have to be able to run that venting underneath there, so that's why that gets picked up a little bit. And then you've got an additional storage behind the toilet there. And on these, you also get the pocket door. So it's not a swing door. You could imagine if this had a swing door, boy, it'd be a lot harder to just kind of maneuver through this trailer. You know, you would probably have to swing into the living quarters from here. You got to step around it. Well, then you got that door open if you're trying to get into the refrigerator. You know, the pocket doors are just really nice from that standpoint of we're not eating into space. So on these Pro lines, as far as everything in here, you get a 1-year warranty on this part of it. As we jump into the Cimarron portion of the warranty, you're looking at an 8-year warranty. Now, one thing I want to point out is I want to show you this little sticker right up here. So that's an RVIA certified unit that we're looking at here. And why that's important is RVIA has such high standards for everything from plumbing to electrical, their LP systems, everything along those lines. And why that is important, it does add a little bit of cost to these units, but this trailer right here, you can go to any national park, any public or private parks out there, and this, with that sticker visible, you can go to anywhere in this US with that sticker on it, because a lot of them have standards and you have to have that RVI certified because they're dealing with more motorhomes and campers. So you'll see that a lot more out there in the industry on that side of it, not so much the trailer side. But Outlaw has such strong beliefs in that certification that they do that on every single unit. And that is a big thing. If you are looking to go to a trailhead or something along those lines, you know, you meet those standards, you can go to those parks. One thing before we kind of work too far back, I want you to notice that big amber turn signal there. So that will indicate when you hit your brakes, when you hit your turn signals. It'll flash on the right side with your right and your left with the left, but also work as an additional marker light. You know, this is an 8-foot wide trailer. These are bigger trailers. We like doing that because, let's be honest, we all know that not everyone pays attention to us pulling these trailers. They all think we can stop like them, we can maneuver like them, and we can't. So just that other additional indicator light in the middle there, we just feel like it's a good piece. That is an add-on, but we do that on all of our living quarters. Our 8-foot wide trailers, our bigger trailers, we like to go ahead and put that on there just for that reason. 2 7,000-pound rubber torsion Dexter axles. Those are G-rated, so 14-ply tires. They're nitrogen filled, they're balanced. That's what the green tab means. So we're not going to have PSI levels fluctuating drastically in heat and cold. Basically helping you from causing blowouts and you stuck on the side of the road. If something does happen to these tires, a blowout, or if you catch a nail and it can't be patched, you take some pictures of some codes, you send it in a Lion's Head. That's the vendor that Cimarron uses, and they'll send you a new tire within a couple days. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on the tires. You have 2 years of roadside assistance as well. So again, we're talking about some manufacturers that stand behind the product. Cimarron, Outlaw, the vendors that they use. So those are just kind of some nice little features that you get. So let's look. We have 4 bus windows, big bus windows. Cimarron tries to maximize that space as much as possible. We understand we want to create airflow. We want to keep the horses comfortable in the trailer itself. Up on the roof, we've got a sheeted hay rack up there. Behind it is our generator box. This is equipped with an Onan 4000 gas generator. You have more than enough power to operate everything on this trailer and not have to plug in. You can turn that guy on and do everything you want. So again, if you are in some backcountry type scenarios, you pull in somewhere at night, you don't have to worry about power. Just hop in, you can start it from the inside of the trailer and do everything you want to there. So looking at this back setup here, we've got a folding rear tack. We have a 4-tier blanket, 4-tier saddle rack with 2 blanket bars on that post. A lot of hooks on the actual folding part of the rear tack, and then on the door with a brush tray. Some people want to use these trailers for dual purposes. So say maybe your wife messes with the horses, goes to some shows, goes to some events, and then the husband wants to take some toys somewhere, maybe go hunting, something along those lines. This post can easily be removed. We can fold this down and you can load some toys in here. We can add a rear ramp to all these trailers. So just because it doesn't have one doesn't mean we can't do it. We just remove that rubber bumper, it attaches, and then it folds up over the back doors. So again, maybe your horses like ramps, maybe your husband like ramps because he wants to put his toys in there. So that's a nice little feature there that we can do. And then we've got solid dividers with pads. We don't talk about it enough, but Cimarron uses these big springs. So this trailer is actually, the way it's sitting is we're kind of angled towards passenger side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to release off the paddle latch this divider, and I'm not even going to touch it. And it naturally wants to pull towards the driver's side of the trailer. And why that's so important is you're loading and unloading horses. If it didn't have that spring and you're trying to load horses the way we're sitting, these dividers are going to want to swing back towards passenger side. You're trying to get horses loaded, then you're trying to hold on to the divider, get them past. So that is a nice feature that they do on all these dividers, even on the stud divider up front here, which again, maybe you're not hauling 4 head, maybe you're hauling 2 to 3 head. You know, this works as additional storage up here. I mentioned it could double as a mudroom almost if you hop in through the escape door. But I like the stud dividers because it goes to the floor. We don't have to worry about those things getting underneath horses in transit. And then if you do have somebody that needs to be separated, it is beneficial there as well. These paddle latches, I kind of mentioned them. So what you have is the actual paddle itself is a heavy UHMW plastic. And then this is a cast aluminum piece around it that's powder coated. Why that's important is we're not having metal to metal contact when we shut these. So we're not having the rattle and clank and bang, creating a lot more noise in here. And honestly, not making your horses as comfortable. They're really easy to operate. We don't have to worry about holding a divider, holding a pin with a horse in there. You know, everything's safety driven. You know, we taper the fender here. And it's not just at this 90 degree, it's also on the top. So everything's got a radius to it. All these dividers have radiuses to them. Nothing's protruding out. Cimarron does a great job on keeping the animal safety first and foremost. Speaking of which, we're standing in the industry's best floor. So this is an interlocking floor. It's double tongue and groove, high and low. It's a 12-inch deck with 4-inch centers. So anywhere you have a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on a support beam. Which, the best and easiest way to tell quality build of a trailer is walk up to it and crawl and look at the floor. As the centers spread apart, as the centers are farther apart, you typically have a cheaper trailer. That's just the way it is. We don't have as much material, so they can manufacture it cheaper that way. So when those centers are farther apart, we have the potential of a horse standing there with an aluminum sheet over the top that can create those pits, waves in the floor over time. So just take care of this floor, pull mats, power wash it out, let it dry, put baking soda down is what we recommend, and the reason why is that'll counteract the acidity of the urine, and then put your mats back in. So again, you take care of the floor, it'll take care of you over the lifetime of the trailer. The other thing is we have an insulated roof that's standard on all Cimarrons. And why that is so important is because it'll keep the stall area cooler, about 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. You come in our lot in the summertime when it's 95 degrees on this asphalt, and we'll take you from a Cimarron to another manufacturer with aluminum roof, and there's a major temperature difference inside the trailers. It will take substantial hail. I can walk on this, we can jump on it, it will not dent it. It's a 1/2 inch thick, reinforced with an R3 thermal value, so extremely impressive option that's standard on every single Cimarron, where everyone else would have to go and line and insulate, but you're still dealing with an aluminum sheet on top. 2-way roof vents, and then you've got these nice big OptiBright LED lights in here. Man, they put off a lot of lighting. Stay tuned. Here in the next couple weeks, we're going to do some testing showing you how bright these are compared to the other lights that we've actually used in the past on these trailers. We kind of talked a little bit about the dimensions of this trailer. We talked about the axle sizes. As it sits right here, its dry weight is 11,480 pounds. So again, it's not a big, massive trailer by any means. I run a 3/4 ton pickup. I am more than capable and rated enough to pull this trailer even when it's loaded. So what you have to do is you have to do your research on your tow vehicle, make sure you have the rating, you're comfortable for it. But again, not a huge footprint on this trailer. So as we're getting a look here on driver's side, behind our drop windows and mangers is our gas fill for that generator. We can fuel your pickup up, pull up to the pump, top that off. Big heavy duty drop windows. I'll go ahead and shut this one because in this back section is actually going to be our fuel tank. So as you can see, they really don't take up this entire manger with that. You will lose a little bit of storage space, but you know, they didn't completely waste it for you. But you have 3 manger doors. Nice for those little miscellaneous items that you can just kind of toss in there. Right now we've got the power cord in there, but you know, collapsible folding chairs, buckets, feed, anything like that you can toss in these mangers, and you're not having to worry about where you're going to put that. But because of Cimarron trying to utilize as much space as they can, you'll notice that those are big openings as far as our actual drops. Some manufacturers will just have a drop window about this size and maybe a small frame around it, to where this is all framing. So massive framework on these trailers, welded hinges with grease zerks, so easy to maintain, keep them functioning how they should. But again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to utilize and maximize as much airflow as we can through these trailers. Again, keeping your horses nice and comfortable. Everything's key to like. So all these drop windows, mangers, tack doors, everything has one key. On your LQ, you're gonna have a different key, and that's just because of the style of door and the paddle latch that's on there. There's our escape door. So again, you can hop in there, use it as a mudroom. And also, there is a drop window in this door itself. Sometimes they won't put one here, they'll just put a bus window. And it's really hard getting airflow into this first stall if they do that part of it. Now, we're not getting absolutely dumped on out here as far as rain goes, but one option that Cimarron has added on, if you look at the top of the door and top of the windows, there's a drip rail there. And what that drip rail, that is that extruded piece of aluminum that goes into the frame, that drip rail is attached to that. So they've got a different extrusion just for those pieces right there. And that is so key, because it's gonna keep this water from trying to get into that door frame. One, potentially trying to work its way back into the trailer, but two, you know, when we get really cold here in Colorado and stuff melts and then at night it freezes, you know, sometimes we'll come out here and we'll have windows that maybe we can't open, or a door, you know, we got to let it warm up a little bit in order to drop those. And that drip rail is something they've come out with here recently. Again, we're not going to get near as much moisture into these door frames and window frames by Cimarron adding that option in there. So if you're interested in this trailer, again, it's a 2021 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse living quarters. It's a 10'8" Pro Line by Outlaw. Give you the stock number on it. It is 5N 200 972. We can send you the drawings on this. We can send you information on, if you say, hey, I like that, I want it in a 3-horse. We've got other trailers on order, other trailers coming down the line. We're reordering as stuff gets sold. So we've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. It's just taking a little bit longer right now because of suppliers. Things are just a little bit behind, so trailers are taking a little bit longer to build. But as you can see, still a lot of quality there. These guys are taking their time, getting them done right for us. But if you're interested in this or anything else we have, give us a call, 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.